how I review an entry of a game series a year sometimes. It's weird because I'm doing a retrospective of the WRC games this year, so why couldn't I just review a trilogy in a month? Oh yeah, cause I'm lazy. Let's finish this. Finally, I get to review Spyro 3 in the year of the rat. I'm 4 years off. It's time to close the Spyro PS1 trilogy for the Degrees of Disruptor. What, still nothing? I probably should review that. Spyro 2 was more successful than the first, bringing new mechanics and improvements to it. And of course, Universal and Sony decided to greenlight the third entry. Year of the Dragon, fitting because it was released in 2000, had a 10-month development cycle, starting immediately after the release of the second game. Oof, must have had some crunch in there. Alas, Spyro 3 was released just in time in late 2000, and unfortunately it's their last Dragon game, as the developers couldn't think of better ways for the quadruped to do. And then Universal hired some developers nobody has ever heard of and made this hot garbage, but that will be a topic for another day. Now, Spyro 3 is a game that I'm more familiar of. This was the only Spyro title that I played when I grew up, aside from demos of the first game, so it's safe to say that I'm not playing this blind. Boot up the game with just a funny title screen and select the buck you want to save and an icon. I'll go with Sleepy Rhino that only appears one time in this game. Oh, and if you hold L1 and R2 and press square, you get to play a demo of Crash Bash. Boring. The story begins after the dragons in their kingdom celebrate the delivery of new eggs in the spring of the year of the dragon. I have to read that on the manual. As the dragons in the hunter sleep, this rabbit person and her rhino-like creatures known as the Rhinox steal all the eggs. Fortunately, she steps on Hunter's tail and wakes everyone up. She runs away and goes down to the Forgotten Worlds. I sure hope no one's gonna use that name as an innuendo. We'll learn that she's named Bianca, even though she's more yellow, but okay, and works for the Sorceress. Zoe watches the two and tells the news to the dragons. Since the big ones can't go in the little holes, nope, nothing inherently sexual here, Spider and Hunter go down to rescue the eggs and find some gems as well. Welcome to Sunrise Spring, one of 4 homeworlds in the game. Each of them have 4 normal worlds, 1 critter world, 1 speedway, 1 Sparx level, and a boss stage. Now it may seem homogenized like Spyro 1, but there's no enemies at least, there's a lot of fodder to flame, and they're fun to explore. Many secrets are found around these parts, including inside a whale. Some must have had a forward fetish. It's also where you learn how to glide and hover, as if Hunter didn't already teach you in the second game, and learn about the power-up gates. Now let's enter the first world, Sunny Villa. The game plays exactly like the second game. You can glide, charge, or flame at enemies to get gems this time, spin, headbash, swim, and climb ladders, which you don't need to pay money, thankfully. Sparx is your health meter and changes color when you get hit. You get to the end of the level to save the inhabitants and send them to the balloon place, and their side activity, which now are in their own sub-levels. The main collectibles this time are just gems and eggs. They're important to unlock levels for the latter, and yeah, to pay money back to progress for the former. Oh, he's back with a vengeance, this time guarding the captured critters in the homeworlds instead of abilities. If you pay a small fee to release them, which increases as you progress, you get a funny cutscene of said critter putting up that brazenly avaricious, duplicitous, larcenous sign. Oh, you'll get a bad treatment after that. Yeah, it's somewhat exactly the same. Same HUD, same controls, same objectives, kind of. If you compare the second game with the third, they look identical. It's like in the main FIFA games since the PS2 era. The only takeaways is that the side missions are in separate rooms in the level, and that the Speedways now have races. We'll get to that. At least in Frozen Altars, you get a freeze flame which, well, freezes enemies. Although it takes more time to kill enemies since you have to charge at them afterwards, freezing some of them will create a platform for you to stand. Anyway, the side stuff can range from helping someone performing a dance for the hockey players, using vehicles, catching thieves on the supercharged track. They've returned, but the latter part only appeared in 2 side levels, avoiding bombs, attacking Rhinox while getting the heck from the waterwind tunnel, and skateboarding. Hey, the Tony Hawk games are popular, why not shoehorns getting here? You don't control like in those games, you move automatically, so all you do is turn, jump precisely at the end to do just the flips, and flame them tiny bastards. In fact, Insomnia took a few ideas from other games, like implementing an FPS segment in Fireworks Factory for Ancient 9, the monkey one, which controls terribly by today's standards. I can't use both sticks to move. I hate this! Speaking of the monkey one, there's also a rail shooter mission as well in Dino Mines. Where's Virginia when you need her? There's Sheila's side quest in Desert Ruins, which plays like an old platformer, and the Sparx levels are a lot like Gauntlet, heavy bugs and everything. Of course, when you finish that, you see an egg for those trying times. Although some inhabitants seem to have such disturbing thoughts about what they were gonna do with the eggs.
Hey Sheila, let's play a joke. Take this egg and smash it on Billy's house, okay? I need to get him back for the last time he butted me off the cliff. If you want to try out the hole, you can borrow this fishing lure I've been using. Here, I was saving this to make an omelet, but I think you deserve it more.
What the hell is wrong with this world? And now for the critters. Obviously they control differently. For Sheila, the kangaroo, probably didn't need a wig for us to know she's a woman. You can double jump and a high jump just after you land it. She can kick, which can break rocks, and do the headbutts like Spyro. Besides Sheila's help, she appears 4 times in other levels, including this disaster of a side quest where you help these moles to plant the bombs by breaking rocks and stopping on mushrooms which they fall down and come back up respectively after a few seconds. The first part was easy as the first guy follows the path, but then there's the second one where he just goes the long route and going psych as he changes directions. Reminds me of that one mission in Fracture Hills. Next, he has Sergeant Bird, who flies by on the X, can grab things with his flippers, and he can shoot rockets at enemies. This one's unique because he can play as saving off the entirety of Enchanted Towers. You know, before Toys Football went on, how do you do, fellow kids? And makes inhabitants look like hipsters. Anyway, this is because of this guy again, who's sad about his friend's bones being scattered around again, and he went just a little dance afterwards. Oh no, he's flossing, the horror. Other than that, he's criminally underused. He only appeared in 3 levels, which is the same as the next 2, frankly enough, and they are much better. There's Battle the Yeti before he got dumbed down in A Hero's Tale. This mighty sophisticated posh Sasquatch uses giant ice to bash enemies and deflect projectiles. While he's slow, he's really strong and fun to use. It's a shame that his other levels involve a shitty boxing game and whack-a-mole. At least there's a standard level in Bamboo Terrace with rolling balls and all that, but the boxing matches are so hard to beat. It's difficult to telegraph your opponent's attack, so you have to be lucky to win the second half. Just come on, just let me And finally, there's Ancient 9, the crazy monkey with a gun. Oh hey, is that thing that Spyro's not an animal third-person shooter? Rough Trigger! You use your laser gun to shoot enemies and use bombs as well. I mean, he's decent, it's just a shame that he's relegated to the aforementioned Dino Stalker and Shadow Warrior. You can stay for level 1 and R1, but I really wish someone made his segments control with proper twin sticks. I know it's based in Reignite Trilogy, but I'm talking about the original. I wish it had more bird segments. The levels that lack any critter segments feel like wasted opportunities, but what do I know? Huh. Nothing crazy happened so far. That is so weird to me. Unless... Oh! Sassy! I arrived just in time. Paula? I expected you to be here in August. What are you doing here? It is August, you silly! But no time. There's gotta be someone who's really crazy for you. A fanboy? No. Even worse.
Hey, Sassy.
Oh, no.
You.
No. Ah! Ah! Oh no. No.
Yes. How's my big fella doing?
I was fine until you showed up.
Oh, I was just thinking about you. Right after I drank so much blood from these pesky outsiders. This shirt I took was from a woman that I killed. It reminded me of you. So I put my black lipstick, went out and jumped around on buildings just to get to your place. Now, all that's missing is for you to get crazy for me. Let's check the fridge.
Oh, please no.
So much blood to consume. Time for your mama to feed you.
No! Not today, lass. Damn, that fucking stings. Thank you for saving me, and you're a vampire now. We're even then. Great. Now my day is complete. Up next is the bosses. You confront them after finishing the 5 required levels and step into the vehicle, at least for the 3 bosses. They basically play like the ones in Spyro 2. This time, however, the bosses are the Rhinox that are transformed by either Bianca or the Sorceress. The first is really easy. You have to push them to the lava and avoid their spin dash after coming back. You also have to avoid their fire attacks and defenses as well. I don't know why I didn't beat them as a kid. I should have just waited for the fire circuit to go away. Defeat them, receive an egg, and go to the next hub world. And then you have Spike. Do people still watch that show? They still do, even after the show concluded. Now stop stalling! This is a really hard boss. You have to get these power-up balls to attack them, while avoiding their plasma balls and the guys from the cracked arena. Easier said than done. You have a 50-50 chance of avoiding the balls and the laser, and you have to get real close to them. Oh, and no fodder. Great. Now, fortunately, Insomniac implemented a feature that whenever you die or fail a challenge, the difficulty will lower for the level, and if you get good at it, the difficulty will rise. This is really helpful for these difficult tasks. Next you have Scorch, who probably found a town of the same name before they got transformed or something. This one is easier, thankfully. You still have to use power-ups, but they're more fun to use than in Spike's battle. Avoid their attacks and their hatchlings, especially this fellow. What the hell? And only attack them when they're not shielded. Now I gotta stop this boss stuff and move to Sparx levels. Yeah, he's not playable in this game. They're unlocked once you beat the boss of a homeworld. They're top-down levels where you shoot balls at the enemies and collect keys and power-ups. Like I said, it's more akin to Gauntlet. It even has enemy spawners. Much like Agent 9, you can strafe, making shooting at enemies easier. Unlike Agent 9, you strafe by holding L1 or R1, it doesn't matter. Holding one of them in the direction will make you strafe, and I like it. There's always a boss at the end. They're challenging yet bearable to beat them. And then you have Bugbot Factory, and this boss which likes to shoot rockets and become 2 when you drain their health by half, making them really hard to beat them. I hate this, it's freaking hard to avoid their patterns and their rockets. I need some f***ing space here. Huh. I expected Lily to control you. She can't control me when I'm a vampire, that's a big problem. Finishing a Sparx level will grant the Dragonflies some new abilities like Gem Tracker, Chest Destruction, and teleporting to an enemy realm, making 100%ing the game a lot easier and quicker. And as for Speedways, they're largely the same. Get all 32 stops before time runs out and get gems in the process. And after that, fight Hunter and do his mission, this time playing as him. They all involve ship-driven UFOs doing some rascally shit. The other difference is that there's no way to extend time, so you have to do it quickly. And the final one are the races. You race against 5 others related to the theme of a speedway, and you press blue stars to boost and red stars to get homing rockets against the enemies. And they're alright, except for that one in Harbor Speedway. The first 2 times were abysmal. The bird in first place was really far away, making this impossible. You'd have to hit every blue star in the race to get them. But with the magic of auto challenge tuning, trademark probably, I won on my 3rd time. Yay! I felt nothing. After hours of using the Superfly power-up, I gotta say, it's rather clunky. Blasphemy! Not much, but when it comes to the races, it's anxiety-inducing when you hit a blue star right before a green circle. It isn't sharp enough, but since this game operates under GTA rules, you can just get through it fine even if you're a few inches out of it. Oh shit, there's a story, isn't there? Blah blah, Bunny steals eggs, blah blah, Spyro goes through tiny hole, blah blah, very angry Bunny not happy with Spyro. After freeing Sheila, she tells him that the dragon disappeared 1,000 years ago and all the magic's gone in the process. Ah, so like medieval times, I think. Because of that, Bianca sold the eggs to recover that lost magic from them. Or at least that's what Bianca was being told by the Sorceress. After a bit of a fight alongside Hunter, the Sheila is starting to get affection for her. After the Sorceress breaks Bianca, she tries to transform a Rhinox into Buzz, the green monster ball thing. After that, Bianca wants again to go back to the Dragon Realm with the eggs, but Spyro doesn't listen and keeps searching for them. Later, Spyro and Hunter see Bianca practicing magic and gets eaten by a giant rabbit monster. Hunter saves her from impending warp doom, and she transforms the monster back to normal. Seems like Bianca is starting to get affected for Hunter. After she gets berated again, the Sorceress takes care of the situation and transforms another Rhinox into Spike. Defeating that, Bianca then warns Spyro again to go back after telling him that she's planning a trap for him. Then he tries stuffing a princess in Sean Ridge before she gets married by a cat prince from another kingdom, only to learn that she's actually in love with him. Who doesn't want the f***ing cat? Hi Shane Dawson! After a few levels finished, Hunter, being dum-dum, presses a button and falls to a trap. Bianca comes in and reveals herself to be Lola Bunny? She tells Hunter that the Sorceress vanished to drag from their original home, or believe that they brought magic to them. But as it turns out, her plans is actually much more sinister than that.
I'm going to create a monster to end all monsters. And I'm going to send it out to destroy all the dragons, even the little hatchlings. Yes, yes! It will smash them and crush them and grind them and tear them. Oh, yes! Smear them and smoosh them and crack them and crease them!
But, won't that kill them?
Why did we find that funny? The Sorceress says she wants to tear their baby dragon wings so that she can make a spell to become immortal. No, seriously, why did we find that part funny? Because of that, Bianca just had enough of her shit and leaves, whilst the Sorceress creates the monster to end all monsters, that being Scorch. Not gonna lie, they're scary looking. After that hoopla, Bianca frees Hunter after telling the truth to him, and then tells Spyro that she needs 100 eggs to unlock the Sorceress lair. Oh look, I already have enough of them. Well, despite that, after playing Whack-A-Mole, Hurkrat Derby, and Dino Stalker, we get to fight the Sorceress and... Wait. Is this the first time they met? This felt like the fifth helmet up to that point. You know, where Bruce Willis and Gary Oldman never confront each other at all. I've already talked about it in my Spyro 2 review, but what makes the banter between Spyro and Ripto is that they've actually met and talked to each other before the showdown. So seeing the whole stuff before the confrontation being a lot like a nasty Gnorc from the first game is a real disappointment. Hell, there isn't even a cutscene of him meeting her just before the fight. No wonder these unknown developers decided to bring back Ripto into the Dragonfly. I mean, he actually survived according to the Epilogue in Spyro 2 somehow, but let's start bringing down to the Dragonfly in this household. Still, it fares better than the previous game where the inhabitants there act like they don't know who Ripto is, or that he's ruling the land. Worse, that game didn't give me an explanation on why he's bad. It just, he's bad, and needs to be beaten down and shit. But why? Here, the people name drop the villain and her armies being the cause of all the crap happening there, making the game feel like you're accomplishing something. Did you just plagiarize Exo Paradigm Gamer? Yeah, I did. What are you gonna do? Lock me inside my room? Why yes, I do love taking my dick in crazy. At least it was consensual. Here's the final boss, and you basically use weapons and armed vehicles to attack her. It's still challenging though. You have to time your shots with the turret, and you also have to fight with the vehicular controls to save your life. What's more disappointing is that Ancient Knight is the only one helping you. A critter from their homeworld will help you defeat said world's boss, although it wouldn't make much sense for Sheila to just let the thing die instead of putting them back to the arena. But this is a video game, so shut up. I'm sure you were expecting the rest of the critters to help him as well, but no, just a monkey. Yeah, it's not a very nice set piece like in the previous game. After that shitfest, receive your egg and get back to Midnight Mountains, only for this fake out death reveal to show up. And so, Spyro gets interviewed by Bentley, meets Allura again, where the f have you been? Then wonders where Hunter is until he finds them with Bianca, loving each other.
It's a sad sight, Sparx. Another noble warrior falls victim to the plague of love.
Ah, shut up, you sexual enforcer. Rude. Oh, I'll show you rude. This is so wrong on so many levels, and yet I'm okay with this. Glad you do. Moving on. Allura comforts him after being a bitch boy, and the credits roll much like the first two games. How consistent. Oh boy. Hello, moneybags.
Don't worry, Spyro. I won't be needing any more of your money. I found one of the dragon eggs, and I'm going to sell it for a fortune back in Avalar. Why are you looking at me like that?
Obviously, we're not done. There's this portal where you need to get all the eggs and the gems found throughout the game to open it. So what? Are you gonna complete the game to defeat the Sorceress for real? Or will you just give up at this point? I did it. Well, at least it didn't wake up the neighbors. So here's the super bonus round. Sounds generic. Where you catch gem thieves and do the mini games. And this is the point where I stopped playing. The submarine one is fine, but the rocket snowboarding race one? Holy shit. Fuck this race. You have to go up against 6 Sasquatches in a free lap race, and the track is just a nightmare to traverse. There's no railings, meaning that you'll likely fall most of the time, which takes a long time to respawn if you do, and the opponent is just really good at this. He has to do tricks constantly to fill the boost meter and pass all the blue stars as well to win, and I just couldn't handle it. Look, if I want to beat the Sorceress once and for all, at least make this part really easy from the get-go. Dragon Shores, this ain't. As I'm looking at a walkthrough, you then shoot at cheap UFOs and then finally confront the Sorceress again in a flying saucer battle. Great. After that, you receive the final egg, which has 2 baby dragons, and we see a cutscene of Spyro returning with their offspring to the Dragon Realms. The end. For presentation, it's the same old from Spyro 2. At least Spyro doesn't look angry. It's still colorful and charming, even with the warping, which looks like they're made of jelly when watching the cutscenes. For a PS1 game, the animation for the Sorceress is quite impressive, much like Neo Cortex and Crash 3. As for sound, still the same old stuff from before, just with a few volume balancing issues. That was worse than my mic. I've played the PAL version as a kid, in which the cutscene audio is compressed to fit all languages, so it's refreshing when playing the NTSC version. There have been recastings for a few returning characters like Elora, Handel and Greta, and Moneybags. At least Elora's new voice sounds a lot like in Spyro 2, but Moneybags sounds completely different.
Ah, you must be the dragon everyone is talking about. Well, dragon or not, I'm afraid there is a small fee to open the bridge. It will cost you 100 of your gems to cross.
Well, if it isn't my favorite dragon. The Sorceress has put me in charge of guarding these bellows. However, I suppose I might look the other way if I was distracted by counting gems.
I like it that way. For music, it's still great, not only composed by Stuart Copeland, but also Brian Reveridge. Here's a hint, if the song doesn't have the iconic sounds you keep hearing from the previous games, then it must be by Reveridge. Due to a short time developing the game, the earlier versions had levels that used songs from other stages. For instance, Evening Lake used the Sunrise Spring theme, which was also used for the Sorceress battle. Awkward. Haunted Tomb, Dynamite, and Crystal Islands here use the song from most of the first world's normal levels, and Lost Fleet the Super Bonus Round plays the same song, as well as the Speedways playing the last one's track. It wasn't until the Greatest Hits release that fixed that blunder, with the first 3 Speedways having their own songs. Too bad it was only released in the US, not even the Platinum version in Europe has the fix, but at least the Sorceress Arena uses Spyx theme. And as for Japan, well, the game was never released there. The whole camera issue in the previous 2 games probably comes to mind. We Europeans had to wait for 18 years until the Reignited trilogy for that musical fix. That, or either import a US Greatest Hits copy or download the ROM on the internet, that worked too. Speaking of piracy, the game has a special copy protection system which hasn't probably been cracked for 2 months, meaning that if you play a simple burned copy on a modded system, weird shit happens, so it warns you when playing that way. Some enemies don't drop gems, the game keeps booting you out of stages, the game suck lots at times, stage switches, and deleting your entire save and booting you to the first hub world while you're defeating the Sorceress, plus changing languages if you play the PAL version. Imagine playing a pirated copy of Deus Ex, but much worse. Still better than Star Force. So that was Spyro 3. To put it bluntly, it's a lot like Spyro 2, but despite being the same crap different coat of paint, it's still a better game than that, if it has its own game. I don't know if Spyro 3 alongside the first 2 are still available on the PS3 store, but you can still get the Reignited trilogy. Just beware of the Uncanny Valley at some points. I'm not sure if I should review Enter the Dragonfly next year, but at least I didn't need a million subs to review this Dragony trilogy. We need to get outside. She can listen to everything with her eyes closed. I'm here to give you a warning. A pale sorceress sent me here to talk about something important. You know Triss? Isn't she the one who put a demon in me? Exactly. She's the one who told me everything that I'm gonna spew to you. Apparently she was a client of mine and wanted to share information to me because I'm related to you. Read, a clone of you. Well, I hope you have a good memory. Now talk. Now, the reason Triss shocked you after Letitia possessed you was because she regretted possessing you without consent. Yeah, she tends to get all sociopathic and then regret being that. Too bad she keeps doing the same mistakes. Plus, she didn't want to attract attention from the Brimstone Squad, a part of the Hellish Elite Force. It's like the CIA from Little Hell. After hearing rumors that the demonists arrived, they sent Mandy Remington, Liddy's old partner, to search around Ontario while also eliminating any supernatural sentient beings she encounters. I have also been told that she's recruiting human members as well. Yeah, I tried telling Sarah not to join. She obliged, but I have this feeling they'll force her to become part of them. Now be careful if you meet Mandy. Well, let's just say that she can get elevated. Are you implying that Mandy has... Don't bother saying it. This video is already tone deaf as it is. Look, Liddy has this sentiment that Triss might have returned working for them, but she's not. While she despises the status quo as much as it's free, probably 4, you must respect the masquerade. You better not attract attention from them. They're already bad enough in hell apparently. So why is she in my mind? She and Triss both want to find the pale demon on Earth, a gender-fluid demon of human origin named Morgan. Triss is their girlfriend and Liddy, while friends, has a crush on them. After they managed to escape hell from the Force with a friend, they plan to meet them again. But due to a ban on pale demons living afterlife after the incident, they can't legally go to Earth. So they thought that the best course of action is for Triss to travel to the living realm and let her possess you. That's one of the 2 goals she's trying to accomplish. The other one is, too political for this video. If and when you both meet Morgan, let's hope they forgive Liddy for killing them. Wait, what? Yeah, she was sent to kill Morgan by her boss, known as Mr. Dementius. It's a long story which involved a lot of trauma. Well, that's all I have to say. I can't believe I learned so much about this whole afterlife thing and the cufflinks surrounding you. Oh, she apologized for the ritual too. And tell Lily she's also sorry for hypnotizing her a year ago. Here's a number, in case you regret being a vampire, of course. I'll meet you again sometime in August, or maybe September. Ah shit, how could I forget about the cheats?
It's too late now. F***ing Paula!